have. Can you see it? I have been waiting on this book for about 3 or 4 months. I got it off of Amazon. They started advertising it back in May. And today I got my copy. And I'm so excited. Well, hello. I'm Jay, and this is Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. And I'm so glad you came by. I'm so glad that, oh man, look. I just couldn't stop laughing and smiling when I got it. It is 750 knitting stitches, the ultimate knit stitch Bible. Brand new. And I got the hard copy. If I can get my books in hard copy, I like them better. Look at that. Beautiful book. But it will have to wait. I promised I was going to do a stitch book, video, but I was waiting on this book. So now that it's here, I can try to get that particular video together. But that's not why we're here today. Now I'm going to sit it right here in a place of honor until we are ready to use it. Well, like I said, I'm Jay, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you stopped by. I'm so excited. Well, how are you? How's everything going? Have you had a good week? I've had a great week. I've really been busy. You can see by the pictures, I've really been working up some new fall, not only yarn, but colors, some new patterns. So I want you to come and join me, and so I can just, we can just share, and I can show you what I've been up to. But first of all, let me tell you what's been going on with me, what's new. And I've got 2 new friends. I didn't go out a whole lot, but as I shared with you before, I've started, maybe as I go over to Joann's and Michael's, I'm going to start going to Hobby Lobby a little more because I really like their yarn and I want to start using some. In fact, I've already started using it in projects, so it's already in the works. And while I was at Hobby Lobby, I met the sweetest person. Okay, our store is like I said, it's a very pretty store. It's more home decor. And they do have a large scrapbook area, and they have a large maybe fabric area. But the knitting, there's only 2 aisles. So there's not, they've crammed a lot in those 2 aisles, but it's mainly their brand Yarn Be Yarn. But it's a very nice yarn. I really like Yarn Be Yarn. So I was over there the other day, and I was just walking around looking, nothing in particular. And as I went around the aisle, I saw this young lady, and I said, "Oh, hi." And she said hi, and I continued on. Like I said, it's only 2 aisles. So as I continued around, she came around. We were going the opposite direction. And, of course, we ran into each other again. And this is what she said. "You're that lady on the YouTube." I was so shocked and surprised. And I said, "Well, how'd you recognize me? How'd you know?" She said, "Oh, I was just watching your some of your videos just the other day." And she said, "I just recognized you." And I said, "Really?" And I was so shocked. Look, because all my Clairol had worn off. It's not really a dye. I just used a wrench, So look. There was no pretty Clairol hardly left. I said, "Well, how in the world did you recognize me?" And she laughed. She said, "Oh, I recognize you from your smile and everything." And we started talking. So I wanted to give a little shout out to my new friend from Hobby Lobby, IJ. Now, I think you're thinking I'm saying hi, Jay, but it's I-J. So, I don't know what's going on with the J's, but her name is I-J, and I'm telling you, she is just a beautiful young lady. And, of course, she's much younger than I am, so we started talking, and I told her, I said, well, you know, she, like I said, she's younger and she still works. I said, well, maybe one day, on down the road in the future or somewhere, you know, maybe we could meet and at the mall, and I'll take you to lunch. Maybe we can just sit at the mall and just talk and get to know each other, you know. Like I say, you can't do it on a regular basis because she's much younger and she still works. So, but we exchanged numbers. So I told her I was going to give her a nice big shout out. She's a crocheter, and she showed me some of the things she was working on. She had them with her. I think she was trying to match up some yarn. She had run out, or she wanted to add something to what she was making, and it was very pretty. And she also showed me she's getting a little more into knitting because she pulled out a scarf, one of those nice chunky scarves, and so I was real excited. So, IJ, I'm so excited. I told you I was going to give you a good shout out. I just, you know, I hope your project came out beautiful. I know they're going to love it. And, of course, I'm going to get to see you again either at Hobby Lobby or Joann's or Michael's. She's a big shopper too. She makes the rounds. So it was so nice meeting you. And my next shout out, oh, like I said, I made 2 new friends. And guess what? Her name starts with a J too. What's up with the J's? Well, I don't know. I was sitting at my computer just one day, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I got this message. Said, I've got, you know, like when a person puts up a new video. So I looked at it and I didn't recognize the name. It wasn't like my usual. So I didn't think too much about it. I thought, well, I'll go look at it later or something. I don't know who it is, you know. And I continued on. Well, a little later, I noticed it was still there. So I said, oh, well, who is this? So I clicked on it, and it brought me up to her video. And her video name is Yarn Elf. Yarn Elf. And her name is Jill. So I want to give a big shout out to my new friend Jill at the Yarn Elf. How about that? It was so wonderful. So I clicked over, and you know how at first when you first click over, you're not, I didn't recognize her or anything, but something told me to keep watching. So I just said, okay, I just kept watching, and I kept listening. And I'm telling you, she is just, oh, she's so sweet. She's a crocheter mainly, but she's getting into knitting more. And just like most people that, you know, crochet privately, you know, you do a lot of pretty Afghans or whatever, and then you give a lot of it away. So when she decided to have a podcast, she realized she'd given most of her things away, but she's trying to, you know, get more projects finished. And she did show a beautiful Afghan that day, and it was just really pretty, Jill. But her story, she is, I'm not going to give it away because I want you to go over, and I want you to get to know her and listen to her story. But she has a very heartfelt story that I think if you watch my videos and you see I wear my heart on my sleeve, and now you should know how I am, and I'm just me. And she has a very wonderful backstory, and I think you would like it. It's heartfelt. It will move you, and she's just really sweet. And she gave me a big shout out on her second video. She, a few weeks later, I guess, she let me know that she had put up a second video. And she gave me the most wonderful shout out. It just moved me. I mean, it moved me almost to tears to have somebody just to say, you know, not one of these, oh, you know, but a real shout out, just like I'm giving her. And I was just moved. And so I wanted to come on publicly and say, Jill, thank you. Thank you that I made a new friend, and I thank you for the wonderful shout out. And it was kind of funny because on her first video, what moved me. So at the end, she said, well, she was saying, she felt nervous and she wasn't sure. She said, but she's going to try to do her best and everything. She says, but I don't have any subscribers yet. But I says, oh, yes, you do. And I hit that subscribe button. And she messaged me back, and now we're already just going back and forth. But I wanted to get this shout out publicly because you gave me a real shout out. I mean, you just made me, it just warmed my heart. I'm telling you, I wear my heart on my sleeve. And the more I come out to people and just talk to people, I mean, you just see that. And in fact, I try to contain myself. Because some things I might say, I'm thinking, oh, don't say that. But, some people might not could take it. But, I just like, and I think we're kind of in the same generation or around the same age. And, we don't have anything really lose. We don't worry about, well, I can't be nice. I can't say something nice about that or give a nice little something to that person because then it might take something off of me. No. And I just felt that you just blessed me so. And I just wanted to thank you. I know I'm rambling, but that's just how I'm trying not to cry. So, to my new friends, IJ at my Hobby Lobby, and to Jill on the YouTube over at Yarn Elf. And I'm asking everyone, if you follow me, just go over and just give her, if you just hear the background story, if you just go over and just listen, just for a little bit, I'm telling you, you'll want to know more. And let's see. So I wanted to get that out, and as you can see, I've been busy. I've got some new tutorials. I've got new projects. It's not the projects that take so long. It's just getting all this stuff together and trying to get the video up. But I've got a lot of nice tutorials coming. And this tutorial that that I'm going to share with you on this video, well, my new theme is teachers. I'm thinking you could be a teacher. Maybe your mom was a teacher. Maybe your grandmother was a teacher. Maybe you have an aunt that's a teacher. Maybe you have a niece that's in college right now who's studying to be a teacher. Or maybe your daughter is going to go to college and become a teacher. And it goes for guys too. And I thought, this is just this time of year for us. Our kids are back in school. And I just it just came to me. I want to do something for teachers. So I came up with Jay's Knit Back to School Teacher Shawl. And you saw the pictures on the first part of the video. And I'm wearing one. Now, from the beginning, that I use stitch books. And my things, I try to keep very simple. I'm not a professional. I'm not an expert. If you want something more elaborate, that's why you have professionals over at Ravelry. I love Ravelry. I've been a member since, I don't know, 2008, I think, is when I joined. I'm just not in any groups because I just never got involved. I was always in groups in my local area, and I just never got into the groups, on Ravelry. But I love to go and look sometimes whenever I have time, but I haven't been in a while. Because I mainly work out of stitch books. I just love the freedom of stitch books. And that's why, that's what I love to share. And that's what my channel is about. I'm going to try to keep it true to what it is. It's supposed to be about knitting and crocheting. And that's what I'm going to stay true to. And if like I say, if it's too simple for you or you need a written pattern, then, that's fine. But I'm going to try my best to stay true because this is what I enjoy. And I'm trying to get better at sharing and how I do projects, just like this one. And, of course, when I do the tutorial, I'm going to go over the stitch book. I'm going to go over the stitch. I've got Hobby Lobby yarn. Look at this beautiful tweed. And did you see the black on the pictures? The black kind of That's not variegated. It's more like a tweed yarn, tweed fabric. So, it's simple, but if it helps you to reduce your stash, you can just reach into your stash and pick out a couple of skeins of yarn, and I'm telling you, you will enjoy making these. They're simple enough that you can, it won't tie you down, but yet you'll come out with a nice project. So I hope you join me, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial. And one last thing. I hope you went over and checked out my episode number 28. My first Jay's Friendship album is up and running. I want to say publicly thank you to all my friends that sent in pictures. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I wanted to do it as pretty and as nice as I could. And if you would just go over and look, I mean, the pictures are just wonderful. And even better, next time when I do Jay's Friendship Album, page 2, why don't you send some pictures in and join us? All you have to do is to knit or crochet something from one of my designs. Doesn't matter, just whatever you like. Take pictures, different, just check episode 28, how some of the people took the pictures. Like Maury, she took, lots of pictures. Different angles, different styles. I even saw in one of the pictures. If you look at the picture, you can see a wedding picture on the back wall. I just thought that was so pretty. And then in another room, on the white love knot little vest, there's a glimpse. I assume that's her and her daughter. I don't know. But it just warmed my heart. It just made me think, oh my word, how beautiful. So we want you to get in on it. Just, like I say, go to episode 28, Jay's Friendship Album, and at the end it tells you exactly what to send, and you can take all kind of pictures from different angles and send them in, and we'll collect them, and then when I have enough, we'll do Jay's Friendship Album, page 2. So, with that said, I'm moving right along tonight, aren't I? It's much cooler. I've redone this 2 or 3 times, but I think I've covered everything. Oh, look at this. How you like my new fall bouquet? I took my spring yarn out, or my summer yarns, and I put some fall yarns and some fall flowers. Isn't that pretty? And then I went and snatched my Afghan off the front porch off my rocking chair. It's just a granny square, but it's really, I think it looks nice, and it kind of hides my air conditioner for the winter. That's what I do. I cover it up, and then I put plastic over it, and then I cover the plastic up with, maybe one of my quilts or an Afghan. And of course, my new book. So I have a lot of projects. I have tutorials that I'm working on, and I hope you enjoy this one. Jay's Knit Back to School Teacher Shawls. I think you're going to like it. Enjoy. Well, as we get started on my teacher shawl, you can see I kind of added a little flower pin, just like I do on most of mine. This one, though, I had to put a pin back. I had to glue a pin back because there's not enough lace in the actual body of the shawl. So, let's go through what we need. And there's 2, it's the same pattern, but each one is knit just a little different. There's a little difference. The first one, when I was wearing, look at this color. Look at this color of this tweed effect. It's not variegated. I don't think, I guess you call it variegated. I don't know. I call it tweed. It just looks so pretty. And this is the yarn. I'm going, trying to bring in the Hobby Lobby yarn. And this is Love This Yarn, Super Soft. And the name of this color is Sorbet Ribbon. Sorbet Ribbon. And it's a really good price. You know, it's not that expensive. But you would never know it when you feel it, when you work with it. And like I say, teachers need something they can wash, or they can, you know, just kind of lightly hand wash or whatever, and keep it shape. And, you know, that's what they do. They teach. They work. And they work very hard, too. So, let's go over it. So, as you can see, I've got it folded in half. And you can see the little points. Every repeat of the pattern will give you one of these points. Now, this is the narrow version, and I'll tell you the difference once we get into it. And that means it's just not as wide this direction as one I'm going to show you next. So this one's a little narrower, and but they both work the same. And here's the pretty end. Here's the point. Here's the opposite end. And I just thought it was so pretty. As soon as I saw this yarn, my mind just started spinning. Even though I had no idea it was going to look this pretty once I finished the project. Isn't that pretty? So, this is one yarn. Now for the next, okay, I have, if you like a wider shawl, that you really like to have something a little wider, then here we go with this color. And this color, of course, is from Hobby Lobby also. And it's I Love This Yarn again, super soft, super saving. And this color is Firecracker. Firecracker. That looks kind of like, you know, doesn't it? It looks kind of like fire. Like a celebration. Look how pretty that is. Oops, hit the camera, sorry. And here are the ends. And like I say, all these points, every time you repeat the pattern, you have these beautiful points. Like I say, this is a very simple shawl. If you're looking for something more intricate, you know, and every once in a while you just want to do something simple. Like I said, especially if it's a gift. And teachers, like I say, they work long, hard hours, and this is just something that will be easy to give, and that's the theme. You know, I just want to dedicate these to teachers. And that was the whole point. And most people know someone, or you have them in your family, so it won't go to waste. But isn't that pretty? Okay, so we have two different styles, well, the same style, but two different widths. You can see how much wider this one is compared to the first one. And we know the yarns. Now, let's talk about the pattern. Now, when you get your stitch books, now I've used this one before. It's by Karen Hemingway. You could find this in any stitch book. But have you ever noticed that when you get a stitch book, and use this towards the back, but this one's not, but use this towards the back, and you'll come to a section where they have a lot of edging. And of course, some people are like, well, what do you do with these edgings? You know, do you put them on pillowcases, or do you just edge something with them? Well, I guess you could. I mean, I don't do that, but but this is how you can find an edging, put it on the edge. I'm gonna find this one. I guess I should have had my page ready. Whoops, I didn't have my page ready. See, now here's a whole selection. Here's a whole group of edging. And she did a very good job, because you can see how it looks, how the bottom edge looks. There's that. And here's the one that we're going to do. And this one is called Feather Edging. Feather Edging. And the reason I chose this one is because these extra rows right here at the top, it created this beautiful transition from where we're going to start to how we're going to add the edge to our shawl. It was already there. Otherwise, maybe sometimes you might have to add that, or you know, add something else. Maybe like on this one, maybe you would have had to add something different. But it was already there, so that's why I picked this one for this edging, feather edging, and cast on 9 stitches because this edging is worked vertical. This edging is worked up the side of the shawl, not straight across, not horizontal, but we're going to have 9 stitches and we're going to be working in this direction. Well, what do you think of that? So now, as we continue, you'll see how easy it is to just come up and make your own shawl design simply by going to your edge stitches. Who knew that a shawl could be so easy and simple? All right, let me get things set up and we're going to go over how we're going to set up our pattern. Okay, now I've laid this one out so that we can look at it again. And our pattern, I've made my black and white just so I can write all my information down and make any notes and kind of help me figure out how I'm going to make this shawl come to life. And this feather edging calls for a cast on. They actually give you the cast on for the number of stitches for the lace section, which is right here. This is the lace area right there. You can see the points. And so, in order for us to make our formula, you know, I have to have my formula so I can work by. All right, since this is on the left-hand side, I'm going to put the pattern. Okay, the pattern has a cast on of 9 stitches. That will give me the lace on this pattern. Okay, well, we need more than just the lace. We need something to add on to the lace to make this section of our shawl. And this becomes, I call it my part. And this is where you can decide what you want on your shawl, or how you want to work it, or how many stitches, or how wide, or, you know. So, right here, the pattern calls for a cast on of 9 stitches. Now I'm going to put a nice slash right here. That will represent a stitch marker. That's going to be a marker. Now, on this side of the slash becomes anything that I want to add to make this shawl for me, or for my gift, okay? And so for me, I decided I'd like to have 3 stitches right after, I don't know if this is showing up really well, but right after the lace, I need at least 3 stitches because I am going to be increasing. The increase will be worked right in this center stockinette section, right here. And then this is going to be a border. So this is what I decided to do. I decided, all right, cast on 9 for the lace. Then I'm going to add 3 stitches so that I can continue to increase from those 3 stitches to a number or a width that I want for this shawl. And of course, just to kind of give the neck area and to keep it from rolling or whatever, I wanted to have a border. And so with that, for a border, and that's B, I decided to have 5 stitches. Now, if you add up the 9 stitches, which is the pattern, that's what the pattern calls for, so we have to go with that. And then my 3 stitches that I will be increasing into to the width that I want my shawl to be. And then I need, I'm having a 5-stitch border to go up and around my neck to make my neck look nice and neat. That comes to 17 stitches total for me to cast on for this shawl. Now, once we cast on, then we, like I said, we're going to be increasing in the stockinette. This is just work plain, just like I'm writing the formula. This is exactly how you're going to work it. You're going to have 5 stitches of just knitting every row, like a border. Then you're going to have 3 stitches, and in these 3 stitches, we will continue to increase as far as we want to go, and then you will work your lace. And the increase works as follows. An increase is knit into the front and back of the stitch. Then we will work the back. There'll be no increases or decreases or anything. We'll just work the pattern. Then when we come down the other side, we have to decrease. And that will be, we'll knit 2 together. Just that easy. So, now let me show you this. Oops, I hit the camera, sorry. Okay, on this shawl, we're going to work so many points. Let's see if I'm on camera. I hope I am. Once we start knitting and start increasing, you can see how it widens out. You will decide as you go up and start kind of putting it up to your body, up to your shoulder, how many of these points you need or that you think will look good for you. For some reason, I always use 12. That's just me. So I will have 12 points all the way up to where my shoulder will start. So let me just count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I will finish my increase in this last point there, and I will mark it. I'll put a mark, and we'll do that when we're knitting. Then this point here starts across the back, and I will do 12. So starting with that, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll put a mark there. There's no increase or decrease across the back. And so for some reason I just found it fit me just to use the same number. So then we need to come down in stitches, so we're going to do that by decreasing on this side. And then I will count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, I didn't move my finger over, sorry. 12. And that's how this shawl, that's how we're going to knit it. Well, what do you think about this so far? Very simple, isn't it? Okay, I guess we just need to start knitting. I will be using a US number 8. That's what the band called for, and of course those are my favorite needles. And you will need other things that you need some stitch markers, and I don't know if you might need a row counter if you think you might. You really have to pay. You do have to pay attention to it. It's not hard, but you do have to kind of remember where you are and what row you're on. And another thing about this one, okay, for this first one, this one, I only increased on 2 rows. I increased on row 3 and row 7. That's going to be in the written instructions, so you'll be able to see it. So for every time I came to row 3, I would add an increase in my little in my stockinette area right here before I went into the lace area. And I will continue to do that, like I said, until I have 12 points. I'm counting these points. Then I'd go across the back, and you don't do anything, you just knit it straight. And then, of course, when we get to the decrease, we'll go over that. Now this one, if you like the wider version, and that's all the difference, it's just a little wider. Maybe you like more of the shawl shoulder effect more. You can wear this one just like, you know, the front, in the front also. It's just wider this way. Okay, I increased on every time I came to row 1, row 5, and row 9. I would make an increase in the stockinette. And of course I know this is dark, but I would make an increase every time I did row 1, row 5, and row 9. So that's something you have to decide once we start knitting. Which one are you going to do? Either row 3 and 7 or 1, 5, and 9. And that's the only difference. Isn't that nice? Well, all right. So you get everything that you need. I'm going to go ahead and set up with some practice yarn so we can start. And it will not take this. It's just a lot of knitting. That's all it is. But it's so pretty, as you can see from the pictures. Okay, let's get set up. I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so let's get started. For our formula, we came up with 17 stitches. 5 for the border, 3 stitches for our stockinette and increase area, and the pattern calls for 9 stitches. So I have knit, once you cast on your 17 stitches, knit 2 rows. I didn't say that, so I'll put it on the screen. Knit 2 rows. Okay, now we've knit our 2 rows. Alright, now we're going to set in our, I'll move this so you can really see it. You see the formula. Alright, so our formula calls for knit 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're putting in our markers. Put your first marker in. Okay. Then on my formula, I have 3 stitches. 2 and 3. Okay. And then I put in my next marker. And from this last marker, these are the stitches where we will put in the feather lace edge right here. Should be 9 stitches. Okay. Now, I'm going to work the pattern. When I designed this, when I was working it the first time, I decided not to do any increases in the first time I worked the complete pattern, rows 1 through 10. I'm going to work each row just like it should be with no increases. We'll start the increase on the next go round. So here's how the pattern reads. Row 1, which is the right side of our feather lace edging, it says knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So knit 2. Okay, now yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit the last 2. 1, 2. That is row 1, and we've set in our markers. We started with knitting 2 rows, and now I've just worked row 1, which is the right side. Now, I turn the work, and all even rows, it's the wrong side. But on this wrong side, these first 9 stitches, or these first stitches here, before this marker, belong to the lace. And even on the wrong side, we will knit these stitches. So I simply knit to the first marker. So I'm just knitting, even though I'm on the wrong side. That's why I say you have to, it's not hard, you just have to kind of get in the rhythm and remember where you are. So I knit, see, can I get a little yarn here? Okay. All right, now I'm coming up to my first marker. We're not increasing or doing anything. We're just following the whole pattern all the way through the first time. Now, The next 3 stitches represent stockinette. Now on stockinette, I need to bring the yarn in front, I need to slide the marker, and I'm going to purl those 3 stitches. Because eventually we will be putting increases and eventually decreases in this space. Now stop, there's another marker. That's the 5-stitch border, and we knit that on every row. So I put the yarn in back, slide this marker. Now I knit these 5 stitches. This is row 2, and it's the wrong side. Okay, now I am on row 3. Row 3 is another right side row. So, following my formula, I knit the first 5. That will always be. Okay, now I'm up to my first marker that represents my stockinette, and of course on the front side you just simply knit stockinette. So I just knit 1, 2, 3. We're not increasing yet. Now you can see the rest of the field after the next marker is my lace. So I slide the marker, and row 3 reads knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So let's go. All right, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, now knit 2, 1, 2, all right, yarn over, knit 2 together, the last yarn over, and knit the last 2 stitches. 1, 2. Okay. The first knit 2 is where I changed her pattern to fit into my project. Her pattern started with a slip, and but I needed you to knit those 2 stitches. So now we're on row 4, and we are going to, on the wrong side, that is the wrong side, but we start with knitting the lace stitches. So simply knit back to the first marker. Just knit till you get to the first marker. Okay, I'm at the first marker. Then these stitches represent stockinette, so I have to come in front. I need to purl those 3. So yarn in front. That's 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm at my neck edge, and I need to put the yarn in back, slide the marker, and knit those 5 stitches. Okay, turn the work. And you can start seeing our lace, and you can see our stockinette, and you can see our neck edge border. Okay, that was row 4 we finished, so now I am on row 5. Now, let's go ahead and do our neck edge. And the 3 stitches right there. One, 2, 3. Now I'm at the lace pattern. I slide the marker, and row 5 reads knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So let's see. Knit 2, 1, 2, okay, yarn over, and knit 2 together. Okay, now on this row you're going to knit 1, 2, and 3, knit 3. Now yarn over, oops, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit the last 2. And that completes row 5. Turn the work. Now I am on row 6. Wrong side, but I start knitting the lace. So I just knit to that first marker. Even though we're on row 6, just knit. Okay, I'm up to my stockinette right there, yarn in front, slide the marker, I purl those 3 stitches. Okay, now yarn in back, slide the marker, and knit the edge stitches, my neck edge. 2, that's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, well, as you can see, when you turn now, we're on row 7. Ooh. Ooh, did that wake you up? But now you can see the nice stitches we have as we start row 7. Now, row 7, of course, is a right side, so I have to knit 5. I think I put too much lotion on my hand. My needles are just flying out of my hands. And slide that first marker. These 3 stitches I can simply knit because I'm on the front, on the right side. So I knit those 3. And that will bring me up to my lace. Slide the marker, and let's read row 7. Row 7 says, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. I like to flag this row because it's the row that's going to kind of give you the point. This is the longest row. So when you get to row 7, you know you're about to make you're making the point. So knit 2, okay, now yarn over, so take your time, knit 2 together. Oops, there we go, knit 2 together. All right, now knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, now knit 1, all right, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and just knit the last 2 stitches. 1, 2. Oh, we made it. See, now you can see that's the point. Okay, so we're now turning to row 8. All right, on row 8, of course, is the wrong side. So we start right, go right in there and start knitting to the first marker. Here we go. See how fast it goes? And we haven't even started to increase yet, but we will. After a couple of times, I decided not to put anything in the first and last point. Just leave it as is. All right, I'm up to my lace marker. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm up to my stockinette marker because I'm on row 8. Kind of lost my train of thought. Slide the marker, now purl. 1, 2, and 3. All right, now yarn in back, slide the marker, knit the last 5 stitches. Oops, I dropped a stitch. See, it happens to the best of us. I got to turn it around. If you do, I just turn it to the front side so I can clearly see what I'm picking up. Pick it up and put it back on the needle. Turn back and continue. So now I just knit those last 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Whew. All right, so I'm on row 9. Let's look and see how nice and pretty and even the stitches are. Okay. Now row 9 of our lace pattern. We have to take care of all these stitches before we get to the lace. So let's get right to it. Okay, slide that first marker. Knit those 3 stitches. Okay, I'm up to the lace marker. And row 9 reads, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5. So let's go. Knit 2, yarn over, and knit 2 together. Okay, now I knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, and you should have 5 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you just knit those 5 stitches. 1, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now, this is the thing you have to remember. When you finish row 9, as soon as you turn to the wrong side, which is row 10, and the last row, okay, this is the bind off row. I can't tell you how many times I just started knitting and then realized, oh, I didn't bind off. So as soon as you finish row 9, you turn to the wrong side. We're on row 10, so we need to bind off 4 stitches. So I knit 1, knit a 2nd stitch, reach back and bind off. Count them as you bring them over the needle. That's 1. That's 2. This will make 3 and 1 more. And 4. So now there's your point. And of course I continue to knit, as we've been doing on every row, to the first marker. So I just knit, knit to the marker, okay, I'm up to the first marker, which will be the stockinette, so I bring the yarn in front, slide the marker, and purl 3 stitches. Now you could have had any number you want in here. I just chose 3. I like an odd number in there. I don't know why. Yarn in back, slide the marker, now knit the last 5 stitches. Okay, now we have completed row 1 through 10 of our feather lace edging stitch. And we did not do any increases right here. It's just plain. You see that? Okay. Now we will start again with row 1. And this time you'll have to decide if you want the wide or if you want the narrow. If you want the wide, you're going to increase in rows 1. Let's just make sure I wrote it down. Increase in rows 1, 5, and 9. If you want your shawl to be a little on the narrow side, you will only increase on row 3 and row 7. So that's your choice. They're both going to come out looking just as pretty. One is just, a little wider. So I guess I'll just do the 2. So catch up and let's start with our increases. Okay, we're ready to start our first round of increasing this center part of our shawl. All right, so I'm just getting through with my edge here, my 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to my first marker. Okay, this is just a stockinette area, so I'm going to go ahead and do the wide so that you can see me increase on more than one row, or a couple rows. I'm going to increase on row 1, row 5, and row 9. So that'll give me several times to be able to show you the increase. So I knit, and to increase, I'm going to always stop 2 stitches before the neck, before this lace area. 2 stitches before, no matter where, just stop 2 stitches before. And into this stitch, I'm just simply going to knit into the front, then turn and knit into the back, pull it through and off the needle, and then always knit that stitch right before the marker. That will always keep a nice edge going up right before we do the lace. Now I slide the marker. This is row 1 and this is my first increase. All right, now I go back into pattern. Row 1 reads. I guess I'll go ahead and put it on again. Knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So we'll just do this real quick. Yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit the last 2. 1, 2. Okay, turn the work, and you're on the wrong side. And remember, I'll join you back, but remember, when you start with the lace area, you're going to knit on the wrong side and then knit the appropriate stitches. This is just stockinette, so that will be purl, and then you knit the last 5. All right, that is row 1. I will see you back at row 3, which will be the right side. Okay, so now we're going to do row 3, which will not be an increase row for me for this sample. Okay, so I can quickly just knit on across because I don't have to worry about the increase. Unless I was doing, like I say, the narrower version. All right, now I'm up to row 3, the lace portion, and it reads: knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So real quick, I can knit 2 and yarn over, then I knit 2 together. All right, now I'm going to knit 2, 1, 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2. Okay, there's row 3, and you can see we have 4 stitches in our stockinette area now because we made that one increase. All right, now we will turn to row 4, and I will see you back at row 5, which will be my increase row. So continue on, and I'll see you back at row 5. Okay, so we're back at row 5. Now, since I'm increasing in row 1, 5, and 9 on this, that's, what I decided, so I could have more to show you. You may prefer 3 and 7. That's just your choice. Okay, so let me just get up to our stockinette area, which is right here. And I'm simply going to knit 1, 2, and I stop at 2 stitches before the next marker. And into this stitch right here, I will continually every time I need to increase, knit into the front and into the back. A really simple increase, because as you can see, this yarn is quite busy, and we really don't need to do a fancier increase than that. So I'm just increasing, then I knit that 1 stitch before the marker, and now I'm ready to start the pattern on row 5. Row 5 says knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 3, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. So now we've made our increase. Now we can just go right through our pattern, our lace edge, knit 2 together. Okay, now knit 3, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 2. This pattern is really nice, and it flows well, and it's easy to remember, and you're not caught off guard. Okay, so there is row 5, and see, we've already increased. Remember, we started with 3 stitches down here. Now we're already up to 2, 4, we have 5 stitches. So the next side is a wrong side row. Of course, we will knit this section that belongs to the lace and do the appropriate stitches across. Alright, so that is row 6. I will see you back at row 7. Okay, so row 7 is the longest row, and it's the row that creates the point. Remember? So for me, it's not an increase row, so all I have to do is just knit over to the lace area. So I'm just about there. I'm at the lace, and I slide my marker, and row 7 reads knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. Alright, so let's go. Knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, now knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together again, 1 more yarn over, and then knit the last 2. That is row 7. Alright, how's yours looking? See? Alright, row 8 is the wrong side. I will see you back at row 9, which will be my increase row again. So, see you back at row 9. Okay, so I'm ready for row 9. And I'm going to quickly knit my little border stitches. Once you get it down, it really moves fast. It really does. Like I said, it's more of a lot of knitting than so much having to worry about it. As long as you remember what rows you're increasing and decreasing on. Okay, so I've knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've knit my 5 little border stitches. All right, now I'm up to the area that I want to increase for me because I'm on row 9. So I knit up to the last 2 stitches before the marker, before the next marker. So I go up to, now I'm at the last 2 stitches right there. It's in this stitch that I will knit into the front and into the back. Increase made, knit this stitch right before the marker, slide the marker. Now, row 9 reads, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 5. Okay, so this is a nice little easy one. Knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, knit 2, 1, 2, okay, yarn over, knit 2 together, and you should have 5 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, knit 5. Okay, now this is what one thing that I had to remind myself. As soon as you finish row 9 and you turn to row 10, this is the row you bind off. Do not start knitting, as I kept doing sometimes. I just fall into the rhythm and I'd automatically start knitting. Okay, so we want to bind off. This is row 10. So here we go. We're going to bind off 4 stitches. So I knit a stitch, I knit the next one, I lift the one in the back over this one, so I say that is 1 stitch bound off. The next one is 2. Keep them loose. Then 3, and now 4. Okay, my 4 stitches are bound off, and you can make a mental note. There should be 2, 4, 6, 8, and with the one on this needle there should be 9 stitches to make sure you didn't drop anything or lose anything along the way or forget where you are. So there will be 9 stitches at this point back on the needle. Alright, so now I just continue to knit across as I was doing. Alright, just knit all the lace stitches. You just knit across on the wrong side. Okay, now when I get up to my stockinette, where we did the increases, since I'm on the wrong side, I need to put my yarn in front, and I need to purl across those stitches, remember? So I do that. And then the last 5 stitches represents the neck edge. So I simply yarn in back, slide the marker, knit the 5. And 1 more. Okay, you have completed rows 1 through 10 the second time because we have 2. Now we can start counting our points. See those points? Okay. And you can see the increase starting to grow right here in this stockinette section. Alright, you're ready to start again on row 1, and if you were increasing in 1, 5, and 9, you will simply start row 1 and do the increase, go all the way through, and continue. Now, let me just get the original here. This, you can see it better on this light color. Alright, for me, I don't know, I guess somewhere along the line, I just got in the habit of doing it. I probably got it off of something or whatever. But I normally like 12 points. Seems to work for me. So you're just going to knit until you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So in the 12th point, you're going to put a marker. And you might know I don't have a marker. I don't have a big one, but I'll mark it some kind of. Here, I'll mark it with this clothespin. But you'd put a nice marker. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You will increase all the way up and through this number 12. You will stop increasing when you start this point here. And this is going to start the back. This is your right side, coming up your right side. This point will start your back, and you can increase, you can make your points with no increases, just working the pattern. 1 through 10, 1 through 10, until you have another 12 points. So you'll get another 12 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then I got to borrow this clothespin. Sorry, I wasn't ready. All right. That's where the back will stop. Now the next point is where I'll meet you back. This starts our decrease as we start to decrease down, back down to the last point, which we will not do any kind of decrease. We will just knit it plain. Does that make sense? Let's look at it again. It's very nice. It's just a nice knit. It's just mainly the yarn. You know, like I said, I didn't try to, it's not fancy, but it's a nice knit. And it's a fun knit. And I'm telling you. And then when you, bam. I'm going to do a new accent tutorial. I hadn't forgot all that. I have the book tutorial coming up, stitch book tutorial, and I'm going to try to do another accent tutorial too. Man, I got all these plans. And plus, I got a surprise for my crocheters after we get through these knit projects. And then I also have another sweater. I'm going to do my best to get it all in before the end of the year, I promise. Okay, that's why I'm getting to the point. All right, so see you back when we get ready to go to the downside to start to decrease. All right, so I have my sample where I have worked up to I am now started my decreasing. So quickly, let me just kind of make sure I've gone on over it before. However many points you do when you're increasing, you want to do across the back section. And then, of course, when you get ready to, as we are now, to decrease, you will have the same number of points. So your points, like I said, I use 12 usually. If you're taller or you just like, want to have more width to it, you can use 14, 16. I try to use simple numbers, but that's just your preference. You just kind of hold it up to the front of your body and see where it falls, and then you adjust accordingly. All right, so on my sample, I just simply did 6 so I can get through. So I've done 6 increases up to that marker, and then I stopped the increases. Now I, of course, went across the back 6 on this sample, and there's the marker for that. And the next point is where I start the decrease. Now I've already knit some rows so that I have something to show you. But your decrease is very simple, and I'm just going to do it on row 1. My decreases again falls on row 1, 5, and 9. So on my row 1, I'm just going to follow my pattern here. And like I said, this is it's just mainly knitting. You just have to kind of make sure that you kind of know where you are. And I was trying to watch Dancing with the Stars, and man, I just messed my sample all up. But I was able to get it back enough to at least show you, what I'm doing. As long as I have the original project, as long as the original project is nice, I'm okay. All right, so I'm getting ready to come. I'm on row 1, the right side. And I'm making a decrease, and it's just as simple as the increase. On the increase, we knit up to 2 stitches before the marker, and we knit into the front and back. And this one, the decrease, is just knit up to 2 stitches before the marker on the decrease side. All there is, I tried to do a very simple decrease on this because you really don't see it if you get the very, tweedy looking fabric. All right, so I have 2 stitches. I simply knit those 2 together. That's all. See? It's not so much about that. It's more about the lace edge. Then I go over and then I continue on row 1. And following the pattern is simply the same pattern. Knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, then knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit the 2. And then I'm off again. See, it doesn't need much direction. And of course, when you turn on the back side, you're going to knit all of the lace stitches. You just knit those. I just like doing it. So, have you thought of a teacher yet? Have you thought of someone? I'm sure if you look in your stash, now if you just don't have anything, then, you may take, dash out, and especially if you have a Hobby Lobby in your area. Like I say, you don't have to. I'm just using this because I'm trying to, do more, to bring more of their yarn in. Only because all 3 of our stores are right there together. And I thought, well, that's crazy. I need to start bringing some of that yarn in too. And then, of course, this is the stockinette section, so I have to bring the yarn in front because I'm going to purl in my stockinette area. But you could just would be just a great, awesome gift. And then yarn in back to knit the 5 border stitches. Okay, and that's it. So now we will just turn the work. That was row 2. I just finished the back side. Now we will continue on row 3, and whatever rows you picked out, whether it was 3 and 7, 3 and 7 to increase on, or like I'm doing 1, 5, and 9, then you've got to decrease on those rows also. So all you have to do is go up to 2 stitches before the marker, knit those 2 together, and continue on. And you can see how it starts to take a pretty shape. Just very simple. You've seen this, I'm sure, everybody's got one. And you know what? And when you're done, you're going to have one too, and it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be very, very pretty, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, see you back at the end. Continue to the last point. Like I said, on my original, you will continue down till you reach point 11. The last point on mine would be point 5 on this. The last point, we work the pattern regular. There's no increase or decrease. That's how we started, and we need to end that way. So, I'll see you back. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got a couple more points to work. See you back in just a minute. Let's keep going. Almost to the end. Well, finally, we got to the end. All right. As we come up to the end of our shawl, and on this sample, remember I had 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I stopped all decreasing after the 5th point. The 6th point I just worked, because we started this way, I worked the pattern as it is written with no increases or decreases. So now I am up to row 9. I'll be up to row 9 as I get ready to end the shawl on the opposite side. So, as I finish up row 8, I just knit. Like I said, it's just mainly more knitting. But you do have to pay attention so that, let me get to the end and then I'm going to ask you to check. Alright, I'm at the stockinette. Well, I will ask you this. We started with 3 stitches here in the stockinette. Were you able to keep all your decreases? And did you wind up with 3 stitches? I'll show you as I come to the end of row 8. Getting ready to do row 9. Okay, right here in our stockinette area, when we started on our formula, we had 3 stitches there. And then, of course, we knitted the whole pattern for one repeat. And then we started the increase on the increase side. Now we're decreasing. Just in case if you made a mistake or, things happen and you drop a stitch if you're still new and you go, well, I've got 4 stitches left or I have 5. That just simply meant somewhere up here, maybe you didn't notice it or whatever, but maybe you missed a row of, when it was time to decrease. So this is one reason I use this last area with no decreases or anything so that I can kind of back it up and just decrease on another row also. So if you have an extra stitch, just go back and just decrease on a row you wouldn't normally decrease on, so that you can get back down to 3 stitches and to make it easy. Now I am on row 9, and on this row 9, let's see, at the last point, there's no decreasing or anything. I'm just knitting the pattern as it is. So I do my 5-stitch border as I get ready to come to an end here. Slide my marker. There are the 3 original stitches, like when I began, right there. So I knit those, and then I go into my pattern. On row 9, it reads, get a little yarn here, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. Okay, now knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. You should have 5 stitches left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and knit those 5. Okay, that is row 9, but I need to go all the way to 10 to complete the pattern. So, and of course row 10 is on the wrong side, and this is the side we do the 4 stitch bind off. So I'm just going to knit that stitch, knit this one, reach back and bind off 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I should have 9 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, and the one on this needle makes 9. So now I just knit, get right back into pattern. Oops, there we go. Because this is our last row. Okay, here we come up to that stockinette, those 3 stitches, so my yarn in front. I purl 1, 2, and 3. Now my border, yarn in back, slide the marker, knit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, turn the work. Now what we're simply going to do now is knit 2 rows. Well, knit a row and bind off. Alright, just so that we match our other side. Okie dokie, here we go. So we just knit now. You don't have to worry about any pattern. We've already finished with our... Okay. In fact, you can let go of these. I'll just hold on to them just in case I mess up. I hold on to the stitch markers a little bit longer in case I need to go back. You can see each section of the formula of the pattern. Okay, so I'm just knitting across now. All these stitches. Okay, now I'm going to turn. That's one. Now this is going to be row 2. Just like when we started. Row 2. Just knit. Now I'm definitely going to drop the markers. I can just drop those off now. I know that I did complete every part of the pattern. I can drop that. Now I'm just knitting across the very bottom edge. And the next thing is to do is to just simply bind off. Just bind off and knit, and you are done. Let's see if I can do it real quick, how much time I've got on my camera. Okay, let's just see if I can get it done. We're just binding off in the knit. Well, I hope that you give this a try. Like I say, it's easy. There's a teacher somewhere that you know, whether they're kindergarten teachers or preschool teachers, or and I just know sometimes you just need to just give some encouragement to someone. So I'm just binding off as I finish. Of course, this is just my sample. But it's cute. I gotta find something to do with this nice sample. I try to keep, I've been, storing my samples in a nice plastic bag. I don't know why, but, if they turn out as nice as this, I hate to just undo it. So I started to just store them. Okay, let's just pull up that loop. Get rid of my needle there. Might have been a little too tight on my binder if I was so excited to get done. So, on my little sample. Of course, I haven't steamed or anything this one. But there it is. And that, you'll cut that. Of course, you'll cut that and weave that in. And, like I say, here's a sample. But here's the original. And so pretty and soft and just simple. But to the person you give it to, believe me, they won't care that it's simple. They'll just think it's wonderful. And you know what? When you make someone else feel great, you feel great. So, I hope you've enjoyed this. I can't wait for the next surprise I have for you. I hope that you give it a try. Don't forget to check episode 28 out and see what some of my wonderful friends on YouTube, the pictures they sent in. And of course, if you give this a try, take several pictures and send them in. And we'll collect them, and when we get enough, we'll give you a nice surprise too. Right here at Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. So, until the next surprise, Like I said, I'm really trying to, oh, if I can just get ahead. Like the projects are ready. It's just trying to sit down and tape and correct and tape and redo it and make sure it's right. But I don't mind. I'm enjoying this, and I hope you are too. So until we meet again, this is Jay from Jay's Knit and Purl Jam. See ya!